When you talk about some of the greatest returns in the history of wrestling, you get names like CM Punk, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, all these names that are bigger and better than everyone else, widely considered to be the greatest of all time. But today we're going to be talking about a return which I think was the greatest of all time, but how it could have been done better. Yes, that's right, today we're talking about the story of when Edge returned after 9 years away from wrestling and had a near 3-year run back in WWE. A run which many consider to be up there with his first run. So today, I'm taking on the monumental task of rebooking the entire thing. So here is how I would book Edge's return to WWE. But firstly, everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it has been a long time since we have posted regular videos. Regular videos will be returning to the channel. I apologise that this year it's been a bit stop and start. There's been a lot going on and I haven't really had the time. But now we are knuckling down with these videos. And today we get started with an Edge fantasy booking. We will be doing regular fantasy booking videos on top of every other kind of video on the planet. So if you have any suggestions, please put them down in the comments section below. But let's get started. Here is how I would book the return of the Rated R Superstar. We start off at the 2020 Royal Rumble. Just like in real life, you have pomp and circumstance of the Royal Rumble match. Brock Lesnar is mauling through the field when Drew McIntyre and Ricochet team up to eliminate him. The field continues on, you're getting just your normal kind of stuff, when at number 21, just like in real life again, you hear the words, "You think you know me." The crowd erupts as Edge makes a thrilling return after 9 years. The rumours were true. Everyone is losing their fucking mind as the Rated R Superstar emerges through the tunnel and you see the 9 years just lift off him in that incredible moment. He gets into the ring, lays a spear out for everyone. The cameras actually catch his first spear. Like in real life, they did not. In this booking, they will. Edge goes on a tear. He throws out Styles. He throws out Corbin. Everyone gets a little piece. He gets down to the final four, just like in real life. One little detail is he eliminates Seth Rollins as well. That is a critical detail. Edge eliminates Rollins. He gets down to the final four, and you get, just like you did in real life, that scene of Edge and Orton teaming up. Orton looks like he's going to fake him, and Edge actually ends up outplaying him. Edge eliminates Orton. Edge finishes third in the Rumble and is eliminated by Roman Reigns. He then sets up as he gets eliminated by Drew McIntyre. Edge finishes third in the Rumble, eliminates, let's say 4 or 5 people, eliminates some big names in Rollins, Orton, gets some big eliminations, pops the crowd, is that big feel-good moment. But then the next night on Raw, things will take a drastic turn. The night after the Rumble, Edge returns to Raw for the first time in nearly 4 years as he addresses his incredible return. And again, just like in real life, it is exactly the same promo. He talks about how he asked himself, what if, goes through a list of potential matches. You get the names, Aleister Black, AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, a couple more, but those are your main 5. Edge is running down a list of, when his first singles match is going to be, when he then gets interrupted by Randy Orton, the man who eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. Orton comes out and says how when he was put in a hole in 2007, there was one person that would save him, that would be Edge. He's a brother to him, he's family to him. Talks about how Rated RKO was a very special time in his career, how he could help Edge find his groove again. He asked the crowd, do you want to see Rated RKO get back together one more time? And Edge puts the microphone to his mouth and before he can say anything is instantly low-blowed by Orton, pushed into the ropes and then given an RKO. He then does the concerto spot, writing Edge out for weeks, and everyone is just left with the question, why do that? Orton comes out the next week and instead of just not saying anything and saying I can't do this, instead he actually talks about how Edge was one bad move away from dying. He doesn't want to see his own friend, someone he considers family, be killed by his own passion. So therefore, Orton took him out, did the decision he didn't want to make, but for Edge's own good, he had to do it. Obviously, he's being a dick about it. He isn't right, because Edge is cleared to return, but he can play that vicious, psychotic heel, and is actually interrupted by Kurt Angle. Angle comes out and just lambasts Orton, calling him a coward, a selfish bastard, just runs down his entire family and says, how could you do that to your own friend and take away something that meant so much to him? Orton rebukes back with that, saying, what are you going to do about it? You're an old man, you can't wrestle anymore. And Angle slaps Orton. Orton instantly RKOs him, will not take that disrespect, and does the same thing he did to Edge, and concertos him, writing him off of TV for a good while. Essentially now we're just starting a trend where Orton is going to murder those around Edge for thinking that he is wrong, to be looking out for him, and he's going to say that they are enabling him and that he's trying to help him. So it's 1 week, it is Kurt Angle. The next week, things get a little bit broken with Matt Hardy. Hardy comes out the next week and says how he and Edge have had a long history but have been able to put their past behind them for the good of their future. And he again runs down Orton, saying that it is selfish and just what the old Randy Orton would do. He says that, Edge is a selfless man. Had he been the one to drag Orton up from that hole in 2007, Hardy would have left him in it. Orton decimates him again, but Hardy shows some babyface fight here, and that sets up a match later that night on Raw, an Extreme Rules match, where Orton wins by doing a twist of fate after continues to just wreck Matt Hardy, concerto onto the stairs. That can write him off to go to AEW like it did in real life. If the NXT offer isn't something Hardy's interested in, just send him off to AEW, give him a big way to go out and leave the door open for the future. Give something that really makes Orton look like this vicious heel and gives Hardy a chance to not look weak on the way out, which I know Vince wouldn't do in real life, but this is my booking. Hardy is decimated, Orton stands tall, and then the next week you get the third instance of one of Edge's friends coming out, and someone Orton has had a lot of history with in the past year, Rey Mysterio. Rey comes out on what is the go-home Raw before Super Showdown 2020 and says that enough is enough and someone needs to do something about this, and challenges Orton to a match at Super Showdown. Orton accepts it, so you don't have Rey in the tournament. Orton has a match to do as well. And basically, this is a shit night to be Rey Mysterio. It isn't a match. Orton attacks him from behind before the start, and you just get a complete whitewash of attacks. Rey is injured, the mask is ripped off, concertos, and as Orton is about to put him through a table, you hear the music of Jeff Hardy. He makes his return after nearly a year out. This is where you get his return, not on some random SmackDown. He returns at Super Showdown, chases Orton off, and on the next Raw says, you've attacked Edge, you've attacked Angle, you've attacked my brother, you've attacked Rey. This isn't just Edge you're harming, it's me as well. Brother Nero is here, and at Elimination Chamber, you are going to get what's coming to you. So there's an Extreme Rules match at Elimination Chamber, Hardy versus Orton. Orton wins again, but as he's about to do a concerto, just as he's holding it above his head, you finally hear the words, "You think you know me." Edge rushes down to the ring, clears house. Hardy is in a bad way, but Edge is back. He is ready for vengeance, and Orton runs away. He's chased off, and Edge just turns and looks at the WrestleMania sign, but doesn't say anything. We're going to speed this up now, so there's not going to be as much context for the rest of the booking, but we are nearly 10 minutes in, and we've only got through the first 3 months. I have 3 years here to get through. So, the next few weeks on Raw, there is brawls, all types of stuff. When you get onto Raw, Edge finally makes the challenge. Edge versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania in a street fight. Orton accepts, we get to Mania, Edge and Orton beat the crap out of each other, and just as it looks like Orton is about to win, both Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio return, and they cost Orton. All three of them team up. They put, Orton through a table off of a perch or something. Edge pins Orton. 1, 2, 3. Edge gets the win. Orton still looks strong, but Edge has beaten Randy Orton convincingly at WrestleMania. Right, now we've covered the first angle, and now it's time to get a bit more quick because I don't want this video to be ridiculously long. So after WrestleMania, Edge talks about how he's moved on from Orton. He wants to go into Money in the Bank and become the first ever 3-time Money in the Bank winner. He beats Ricochet in a match on Raw to qualify. He does these promos that hype up, him, Aleister Black, AJ Styles. They're your 3 participants from Raw. They have a triple threat match on Raw. Styles wins that. They tease Styles versus Edge and Black versus Edge. Money in the Bank, Edge does not win as he's costed by Randy Orton. This leads to a rematch at Backlash, just a straight up singles match. None of that greatest wrestling match ever crap. Edge wins that convincingly. Finally beats Orton 1-on-1, takes some time off between Backlash and Extreme Rules, give him a little break because he has been back 6 months by now, and it sets up, he comes back on the first Raw after Extreme Rules and sets up his SummerSlam match, which is Kevin Owens. Essentially, Edge wants to see if he can hang with the best of today, and Owens is someone he looks at in that kind of Edge position nowadays, that ruthless, spineless guy when he needs to be. It's a face versus face match. They're very respectful in their promos. Edge wins. Owens shakes his hand after. After that, it's one and done. After that, Edge moves into a feud with Bobby Lashley for Clash of Champions. Now, at Clash of Champions, it's a squash match. Bobby Lashley destroys Edge, hands Edge his first loss, and it really starts Lashley's ascent to the main event scene. He kicks it off with a big Hall of Fame win against Edge. Edge is destroyed. He takes a bit of time off after Hell in a Cell. He is a broken man after Lashley has battered him, and he actually returns to be the team captain for Team Raw at Survivor Series 2020. However, in the match, he's the Rated R Superstar. He made his name on SmackDown. Edge turns on Team Raw, revealing to be a SmackDown member. He leaves Raw to go to SmackDown, and his first feud on SmackDown is with Shinsuke Nakamura. The Edge-Nakamura feud is a 3-match trilogy that begins at TLC in just a straight-up singles match with Shinsuke Nakamura cheating to beat Edge. So Edge has lost again, but he does look clean in this. He looks strong. They have a rematch on the first SmackDown of 2021, which Edge wins, so they're now 1-on-1. And then the final SmackDown before the Royal Rumble, Edge-Nakamura 3, Edge wins conclusively, beating Nakamura. He shakes Nakamura's hand after. Here is where you get Nakamura's face turn, which he had in real life a few weeks earlier. You get that here. Edge and Nakamura can still be in the gauntlet, but they never get to each other. Edge, is eliminated first by Cesaro. Nakamura then comes in. Edge enters the Rumble at number 1 and does, in fact, win the Rumble. We don't change that. Edge does win the Rumble, and he sets his sights on becoming world champion. He was forced to retire 10 years to the day of the WrestleMania 37 main event. He isn't going to back down now, but he doesn't make it clear who his choice is going to be, and he lets everyone know, you will know my decision soon. Obviously, it's not a massive shock. Edge chooses Roman Reigns. So at Elimination Chamber, Roman does the exact same thing he did in real life. They have the chamber match. Roman faces Daniel Bryan after, beats him in 30 seconds. Then after, Roman turns around into a spear from Edge. Edge straight away points at the sign and says, I'm coming for you, Roman. WrestleMania, it's on. So the match has been set. Edge versus Roman at WrestleMania. Everyone's looking forward to that. Except for one person, and that's Daniel Bryan. Bryan comes out the next night on SmackDown and says, Roman is a coward. He could only face me after I'd been put through an Elimination Chamber match, and challenges Roman to a rematch at Fastlane. Roman says no when it turns out Adam Pearce makes the match and says, hey, we're going to have a special guest referee. Jey Uso wants to be in the match. Pearce says, no, you've got to earn it, which is where you bring Edge down, and Edge says, fine, I'm sick of this too. Me versus Jey at Fastlane. Winner is the special guest referee in the main event. Pearce agrees to it. Edge versus Jey kicks off the show at Fastlane, and Edge wins. He's the special guest referee. During the main event, Roman versus Bryan, Edge is calling it down the middle. You know, him and Bryan have a lot of respect. They've done the exact same thing. Him and Roman, not so much. Edge did spear him. During the match, Jey Uso comes down, and as Edge is dealing with Jey Uso, Bryan makes Reigns tap on screen, so he gets the visual win. Edge doesn't see it, however, turns around, Bryan knees him in the face for it, for not seeing it. Roman then spears him and then pin 1, 2, 3. So it seems set that Roman versus Edge is locked for WrestleMania, but we get, like we did in real life, the announcement it will be a triple threat, which builds some tension between Edge and Bryan. Tension between Bryan and Reigns is already simmering. Tension between Edge and Reigns is already there. Combine the three, triple threat match at Mania. You get exactly the same build to the match. Edge's fantastic promos, Bryan talking about his dreams, but you really play up the tension between Edge and Bryan. They're both trying to achieve the same thing. Bryan did it last year, but did it by having to go to the dark side. He wants to redeem himself this year. Can he do it the right way? And at WrestleMania 37, Roman stacks both of them, again like in real life, and gets the win. After, though, Edge does not take time off. He instead focuses on Daniel Bryan, saying Bryan is the reason I am not Universal Champion. Therefore, I want to kill Daniel Bryan. And every week, he murders Bryan. Isn't a full heel turn until Bryan finally says, I've had enough of this. Me and you, first time ever, Edge versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania Backlash. Loser leaves WWE. So the match is set. It main events the show as well. You can market it, two big legends. Which one is going to leave? Edge beats Bryan, sends Bryan off to AEW. Edge has beaten Bryan. He wants his rematch with Roman, and that's what he sets his sight on. Every week from Backlash until Money in the Bank, Edge and Roman are just constantly at each other's throats. You get the Edge and the Mysterios versus the Bloodline match on SmackDown. At Money in the Bank, you finally get the match, Edge versus Roman, for the first time ever. Edge is about to win when he's cost by Seth Rollins. So Rollins, again, like in real life, the thing with this booking is it's not really a rebooking, it's more of a tune-up. A lot of what they did with Edge was right, but just maybe missed that little bit to take it further. This is what we're doing. It's just, it's a polishing of Edge's run. Rollins costs to Edge. Cena then comes back for Reigns, so that sets up Edge's next big feud, which is Seth Rollins. At SummerSlam, they have the match. Rollins cheats to beat Edge again. They have a rematch at Extreme Rules, this time an Extreme Rules match. Edge gets the job done there, so they are one-on-one, and it of course sets up for the inevitable finale. Crown Jewel, Hell in a Cell. Rollins gets the win here, not Edge. So Rollins has actually beaten Edge 2-1 in the series. Edge, needs to take some time off to reassess the mental damage it's done to his family. You keep the invasion angle because that was incredible from Seth to go and invade Edge's house. You keep that. It's a bad blood feud, personal. Edge doesn't return until 3 months later at day 1, and that's where Miz and Maurice interrupt him. That then sets up a tag match. Maurice slaps Edge, that sets up a mixed tag match at the Royal Rumble. Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice. Edge and Beth, of course, get the victory. And then Edge enters the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber. He's eliminated by Austin Theory. That gives Theory a big rub. But he eliminates AJ Styles. And AJ, the next night on Raw, comes out and says, look, I've got to know who is the better man. Is it me or you? So why don't we finally give people the dream match they want? Edge versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Edge accepts, and it starts off very respectful, but the promos, they continue to kind of just that little dig here and there, tag team bitch to Omos, losing to Rollins. Eventually, the final Raw before WrestleMania 38 is a big pull-apart brawl. They're at each other's throats. At WrestleMania, the match, Edge and AJ's matches weren't great. I feel like that's because the heel versus face dynamic was too early. So here you have a face v face dynamic when at the end of the match, Edge attacks AJ. He wins the match, but attacks him after, turning heel. And Damian Priest joins Edge, and this forms the early incarnation of Judgment Day. Balor makes the save, because obviously Balor and Priest had been feuding at the time. Balor makes the save for AJ, and that sets up a tag team match at WrestleMania Backlash. Edge and Damian Priest versus Finn Balor and AJ Styles. That match, Edge and Priest win thanks to the help of Rhea Ripley, who joins Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley is then attacked the next night on Raw by Liv Morgan. They were feuding, obviously, at the time. That kickstarted their feud. So it sets up a match at not Hell in a Cell, but in fact a Judgment Day pay-per-view is recalled just for this. This is your opener of the show. Obviously, Cody versus Seth main events. And it's Edge, Ripley and Priest versus Balor, AJ and Morgan. The new Judgment Day win, obviously. You have Edge pinning AJ, going 3-0 on him. The next night on Raw, Balor attacks Edge, kicks him out of the Judgment Day. They're saying that, he's washed up, he needed the talent to come and help him. It's a shit night to beat Edge. Also, I'm having to do this because, just like they did in real life, Cody's injury, I don't really want to book around it. Because, I know I've booked around Edge's injury in 2020, different time, different place and all that. But I'm really not comfortable with booking around this injury here. So we'll say that Cody does go out. Edge is attacked to become the top babyface on Raw. But Edge is attacked and he is not seen for weeks. Then Judgment Day set their sights on 3 individuals, that being AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. After a few weeks of being attacked by the Judgment Day, AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio finally get on the same page and they challenge Judgment Day to a tag team match at Money in the Bank. AJ and Rey versus Judgment Day. Judgment Day win here, and after, you get a weird vignette played, not to Judgment Day, but just after the match on the show, a weird vignette gets played. And you see these vignettes for every few weeks up until SummerSlam, with the last one being on the SummerSlam kickoff show. And of course, it is Edge. It is the same vignettes that they had in real life with, Fire and all that, Christians. You play them, but after every Judgment Day segment or before to signify he's coming back for them. AJ and Edge versus Balor and Priest. And in that match, during the match, is where you get Dominic Mysterio's heel turn to join Judgment Day, with Finn Balor pinning Edge, the Hall of Famer, and gets the win, with Mysterio turning on his father and joining the Judgment Day. Edge faces Dom on an episode of Raw in the build-up to Extreme Rules, and Rhea Ripley gets involved, and this leads to Beth Phoenix returning again and sets up an 8-person mixed tag match at Extreme Rules of the Judgment Day versus Edge, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio and Beth Phoenix. And in this match is where Beth Phoenix is hit with a brick to the back of the head and then a concerto, writes Edge off of TV for a couple of weeks to take care of Beth Phoenix, writes Beth Phoenix off. In the meantime, after Extreme Rules, where Judgment Day have won, Rey says to AJ, look, I can't handle fighting my son. I'm not having any part of this. AJ, respects the decision. They shake hands. They go their separate ways. Rey is taken off of TV. He isn't in the right state and we don't see him for months. So AJ is now on his own. When the Judgment Day are about to attack him, you get the return of Gallows and Anderson, the OC, and that's then where you set up the match for Crown Jewel, the OC versus the Judgment Day, with the Judgment Day getting the victory there, again to look strong. AJ and Balor finally then end their feud at Survivor Series. Balor wins their match, and then after the match, Edge returns. They go at it for a few more months. Edge faces Priest, Dom on Raw to earn the right to face Balor at the Royal Rumble. But on the Raw before the Royal Rumble, Raw is 30, Edge and Beth Phoenix take on Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley. Edge and Beth win. That sets up Edge versus Balor inside Hell in a Cell. Balor wins. Edge is in the Rumble and he comes face to face with Karrion Kross and Bray Wyatt. Bray and Edge face each other at Elimination Chamber. This would be the WrestleMania match I was going to do, but I really don't want to book around that period because it was the darkest time for the Rotunda family. We'll just do the match now. Edge versus Bray. Bray wins. Edge then gets into a feud with Karrion Kross for WrestleMania 39. Kross beats Edge there, gives Edge a big WrestleMania match and Kross a big WrestleMania win. Following that, Edge then goes into the tournament for the new World Heavyweight Championship, wanting to become World Champion for the final time, and he swears next time he loses it, he will be retired. Edge earns his way to the final against Seth Rollins at Night of Champions, so you get Edge versus Rollins 4. Edge wins to tie it to 2-2. Edge then defends the belt on SmackDown every week against guys like Sheamus, LA Knight, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. At Money in the Bank in London, he faces Logan Paul. He retains the title against Logan. And then Balor and Rollins face each other one-on-one in the number one contenders match. Rollins wins that. And that sets up Edge versus Rollins 5 at Survivor Series. The final chance Rollins has at Edge's World Championship. Edge is beaten by Rollins. Rollins wins the series 3-2, becomes World Champion. He takes that through to Mania 40. Edge can either go to AEW, retire, or, he can become a manager for maybe someone like Kevin Owens or, Shinsuke Nakamura or someone like that. That's your choice, but do think whatever you want to think down below. That's it for today. Apologies for the long video. I know it's a long one. They will be shorter in the future. Thank you for the return to YouTube. It's going to be a good year, 2025. Let me know what videos you want to see down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.
Let me tell you, wanna see you fly, way up in my sights. To the day I die, we're heading for the silver line. Let me tell you, wanna see you move, cause there's room for two. Every day, every night, we turn up to 9-9.